Dirt Trax is sponsored by Can-Am. The ride says it all. Polaris, the world leader in off-road innovation. And by Yamaha. Conquer outdoors.
Saying 2016 is a big year for Polaris is like saying the Sahara was hot this year. It's hot in the desert every year, and it seems like every year is a big one for the crew from Roseau, Minnesota. While there are a number of new models for 2016, Polaris has decided to release them to the media in separate events. This one is all about the RZR S 1000 and the ACE 900. The RZR and ACE don't look like drastically new vehicles because, for the most part, they aren't. Polaris simply took vehicles everybody already loves and did what everybody wanted them to do: add more power.
As far as the engine itself is concerned, it is basically the same exact engine that is in the RZR XP 1000. The only discernible difference that you'd be able to find is that we phased the camshafts just a little bit differently to get a little flatter torque curve in the mid-range and a little better idle stability. But other than that, the physical engine itself is literally identical to the XP 1000.
Of course, the most important question in need of answering is this: does the extra horsepower make the already impressive RZR S better? And the answer is so obvious, I don't even need to say it out loud. The increase in power is nearly 30%. It can be felt all across the power band, and it takes the RZR from awesome to outright insane. Keep in mind, this vehicle is significantly lighter than the full-size 1000 XP, so their power-to-weight ratios aren't as far apart as you might think. The number one thing we heard after Polaris released the original ACE was that it needed more power. The number one thing we heard after Polaris released the more powerful ACE 570 was that it needed more power.
Well, this is a great engine that we've used for a long time. You can also find it in our Rangers, the Ranger 900. But putting it in the ACE, it wasn't just a plug and play. It's got new clutching, new gearing. There's a lot of things done to make sure that it performs well for this package.
With more power comes a need for impeccable control. Polaris's EPS system makes steering light and precise, but this puppy will do 63 miles an hour. A little more was needed.
Well, with power comes more performance. So one of the things you got to do is make sure the machine can handle it. So there's been suspension changes in the rear. There's been a new front stabilizer bar added to the front. The suspension's been retuned to handle the amount of power that this machine has.
The front sway bar really helps keep the 900 ACE flat in the corners, but don't be fooled and don't be a fool. It's still a narrow vehicle capable of high speeds. Driving the 900 ACE requires liberal helpings of common sense. At first, 63 miles an hour sounded a little bit underwhelming when you consider the ACE 570 will do 60 flat out. But what's impressive about the ACE 900 is not how fast it goes. What's impressive about this thing is how fast it gets there. This is one super torquey motor. It demands attention with its throaty parallel twin-cylinder exhaust note. Standing on the throttle from a stop will result in excessive wheel spin and a pleasant sideways drift. Truthfully though, standing on the throttle at any speed will result in wheel spin and a power slide. There's just so much power on tap for a vehicle that's so small and light, the rear wheels never really seem to fully hook up. And in case you're wondering, yes, this makes the ACE 900 super fun to drive. Launching off roots and rocks is effortless. The front and rear sway bars keep the vehicle flat in the corners, and steering with the throttle is easier than actually steering with the steering wheel. After a full day with the RZR S 1000 and the ACE 900, the mantra, when it comes to power, more is always better, has proven itself true yet again. Polaris has proven they get you and me. They understand that we want our side-by-sides fast and fun, and that's a perfect description for the 1000S and the ACE 900.
Dirt Trax is sponsored by Princess Auto, a unique world of equipment, tools, and more.
So last year we attended the very first Camp RZR East at Brimstone, and it was hands down one of the most impressive side-by-side events I have ever seen. We knew that after the success of last year's Camp RZR this year's could only get bigger. And sure enough, we showed up at Brimstone this year in Huntsville, Tennessee, and there were significantly more people in attendance, and the enthusiasm level was through the roof.
You know, Camp RZR really is a celebration of off-roaders and their lifestyle, right? It's an opportunity to bring a community together, bring their machines, bring their friends, bring their families, and get together in a beautiful destination area, ride, get out, enjoy the scenery, and then get together later at night and have a concert or other events to socialize and really enjoy the sport and lifestyle of off-roading.
The word had obviously spread. There were people from all over the place in Huntsville, Tennessee. We even met a group of people from New Zealand who traveled the whole way from New Zealand to the small town of Huntsville, Tennessee, just to show up and attend Camp RZR.
You know, a RZR owner coming to Camp RZR is a number of things that they can experience. First of all, the beautiful trails, the scenery, the camaraderie, right? They bring their cars, they see other cars, all the accessories that different people put on them. We have some of our vendors like Fox and Walker Evans. We have dealers here on site.
It's really neat to see and talk to people directly from the vendors that are creating parts and providing parts for the vehicles that we ride every day. You can get answers to your questions, you can get tips on setups, you can get spare parts in some cases, and really go home with a better understanding of the vehicle you're driving and the components that make it what it is. Part of riding your side-by-side is doing repairs. It's just the nature of what we do. And Polaris knows that. And Polaris knows that if they're going to promote people being out on the trails, and they're going to design and promote events that get you out on the trails at Brimstone, then people are maybe going to have a couple problems. So they had a full service repair bay there that was free of charge. If you broke your side-by-side in any way, you can buy the parts from them, and their mechanics, Polaris trained mechanics, would fix your side-by-side on site and get you back out on the trail. Anything from small type finicky stuff to major repairs were being done there the entire weekend.
We have over 64 people from all different departments of Polaris here to really experience what our customers are experiencing and hear directly from them. And this is really what the RZR brand is all about. The lifestyle of off-roading and bringing people together in their element on the trails and using these awesome vehicles to really experience life and have a lot of fun.
One of the big differences between this year's Camp RZR versus last year is that there was less of a focus on competitive type events at the event grounds like drag racing and mud bogs. They'd switched the focus to riding events like scavenger hunts and things like that, where you actually got to ride your RZR around the trails at Brimstone and gather entries into draws for incredible prizes. So one of the main events was Hunting for Sasquatch, and it was sponsored by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. And basically they had 3 cardboard cutouts of the Jack Link Sasquatch placed out on the trails. And you registered with your cell phone, and they would send random text updates and clues as to where Jack Link's Sasquatch was going to be hiding. And you went out on the trail and you followed the clues and you found the Sasquatch. And this was a fantastic event. Clearly people absolutely loved it. I've never seen more people on the trails at Brimstone. I've never seen more people on trails anywhere for that matter. And everybody was excited. They were positive. They loved getting their picture taken with Sasquatch. They knew they were getting their entries put into the draw for all the great stuff. And there was an additional prize for this event alone, which was a year's supply of Jack Link's beef jerky. And if I know ATVers, I know ATVers eat some jerky, so that was a very valid prize. This year, since the theme of Camp RZR seemed to be giving away free stuff, they came up with new ways to give away free stuff. And their biggest sort of event, giveaway event, was called Palooza. All of your entries from over the weekend got you more chances to win items, and basically it was a random draw of names from the entry list, and you could win prizes anywhere from $200 to thousands of dollars. And we saw people win thousands and thousands of dollars of prizes. We saw people win audio stuff. We saw them win, well, the people from New Zealand won a full set of tires for their side-by-sides. How they're gonna get those home, I don't know. And people were so pumped. The tradition at Camp RZR in the evenings is to put on a wicked concert. And this year was no different. They had a full-bore country music concert with country music superstar John Party. But they couldn't just have a concert, because, you know, that wouldn't be awesome enough. They had to blow everybody's mind just one more time by giving away 2 brand new 2016 RZR models. It was a pretty awesome thing to see. And then, of course, bam, giveaway RZRs, country music concert. Everybody's happy.
Too much money for a good time, rather cost some.
Dirt Trax is sponsored by Eastern Ontario Trails Alliance. Your backyard just got bigger.
Day 2 at Camp RZR was very similar to day 1 in that the whole purpose of the event was to get people out riding their RZRs. So they started it off by having people ride up to RZR Ridge, which is an awesome overlook at Brimstone, and they served a free pancake breakfast to everybody who showed up. So you had hundreds and hundreds of people with their RZRs having some pancake breakfast, hanging out, chatting. It was a really cool way to wake up in the morning and kind of start off day 2 of Camp RZR with a bang.
You see here this morning, we're having a pancake breakfast up on RZR Ridge here in Brimstone. It's just a beautiful morning. People out riding RZRs, eating breakfast and socializing. And that's really a lot about what off-roading is all about and what Camp RZR is about. There are thousands of people here. We have thousands of RZR registrants that are here to all get together in one spot at one time from all over the country, Canada, and people even from outside North America. They come here to experience Camp RZR, the riding, the camaraderie, and everything about UTVing and off-roading that RZR can provide.
After breakfast, they opened up what they were calling the Fox Shocks Run and Gun. Basically what it was a trail in the woods where you drove your RZR, and then you stopped at a location and got a paintball gun and shot at 5 targets, and then got back in your RZR and drove to another location and got out, used another paintball gun to shoot 5 targets. And for every target you hit, you got entered into a draw for a brand new set of Fox Shocks, but also every one of those entries went into the larger draw pot for all the other prizes that you could win. And it was a great event. Everybody was having so much fun. I mean, you take a bunch of people from Tennessee and hand them any kind of gun and everybody's gonna have a good time. After the run and gun, there was no time to be wasted because the very next thing that was going on was a acoustic concert with a country music band Old Dominion. And that again happened on RZR Ridge with this really trick handmade wood carved stage that they built up there. And it was pretty neat. There was a lot of people showed up for that one. They'd all been riding for the morning anyway, and they knew the concert was happening. So people were rolling in constantly, filling this field up on the hill. Old Dominion showed up and put on an acoustic set, and everybody sat around and had a great time listening to that. And it was a really cool way to kick off the afternoon. All during Camp RZR, maybe one of the most important things they do there, certainly one of the most popular, is the ride experience, which is basically test rides, being able to take out some of the newest vehicles for demo rides. The 2 sort of most popular vehicles they had on hand this year were, of course, the 1000 Turbo and the ACE 900, and they had both of those at the ride experience for people to try. They must have put a million miles on those demo units because people were just funneling in and out of there constantly. It was an endless stream of test rides.
The future of Camp RZR is going to be exciting, right? We started Camp RZRs 4 years ago out in California. It's our 2nd year here in Brimstone, and we've also done Camp RZRs in Dubai, and I'd expect that we'll continue to expand into other markets in North America and in places like Mexico. And as I've said, this is intended to be an over-the-top experience for off-roaders to get together on a grand scale with thousands of riders coming together. And we expect to continue on that and continue to make them bigger and better because the riders really have responded.
This year at Camp RZR, the first night's concert had as many people at it as last year's second night major blowout bash. So we couldn't even imagine what the second night of this year's Camp RZR was going to be like if it was going to be bigger than last year's second night. And a Jake Owen concert is a pretty good way to attract a ton of people. And I'm telling you, I haven't seen that many people piled into one field ever. but they were there for something else as well. See, Polaris gave away 2 2016 Razors the previous night. Well, that wouldn't have been enough, of course, so they had to give away 2 more 2016 Razors, another turbo and another 1000S. The winners were wicked amped, and actually, so were their families, and rightfully so. I mean, you win a new turbo, that's a pretty darn good prize for people who are the nuttiest, most dedicated Razor enthusiasts to begin with. And of course, again, that gets the crowd pumped, that gets everybody amped up already, and then you throw Jake Owen into the mix and have a full-on concert with the lights and the whole bit, and everybody was just having the best time. So big thanks to Polaris for taking the initiative to put on an event like this, an all-encompassing event, an opportunity to get together, share an experience like this with like-minded individuals who love side-by-sides and ATVs just as much as you do. This is the only way you're ever going to get to experience something like this, so make sure you get out to next year's Camp RZR East so you can be a part of it too.
What we want people to know is that Camp RZR isn't just about Razer or Polaris. We believe once you come to experience everything Camp RZR has to offer, become more involved in the Camp RZR experience, that you as a consumer are going to want to be more involved in the Razer brand.
Dirt Trax is sponsored by Algoma, That Real. Closed captioning of Dirt Trax is sponsored by Triton Trailer, built for adventure.
The Polaris Midsize Ranger is an extremely versatile and very popular utility vehicle. And while factory equipment on this 570 LE is exceptionally good, there's still lots left to the imagination. So today I'm going to show you a few of my favorite accessories from Seismic and just how easy it is to install them. Seismic makes a wide variety of accessories for ATVs and side-by-side vehicles and is especially unique as many of their products are not vehicle specific, but multi-vehicle fit, thanks to the creative use of Polaris Ranger ProFit cab clamps and other brand tube clamps. It means that one product fits a wide array of vehicles, and therefore the end part is offered to you at an exceptional price. The VersaFold windshield is right at the top of the list of important accessories from Seismic, because on a utility rig, a windshield is useful in more ways than one. The VersaFold windshield features a full water gasket and can be flipped down halfway thanks to its special plunger locks. The installation process is straightforward and the results are exceptional, fitting true to the ProFit cap. The VersaFold is trailerable up to 65 miles per hour and not only is made of quality optical grade acrylic, it's also designed to work with most OEM and Seismic hard or soft tops as well as light bars. And speaking of light bars, it's important to point out that Seismic has a Prerunner style light bar kit made specifically for the ProFit roll cage. Come on, I'll show you how to install it. This is a ProFit 100 watt Prerunner system that is fully adjustable, meaning if you sell your midsize and buy an XP900, this will still fit. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's fully pivot adjustable for direction and includes a 22-inch wide 100 watt Cree LED light bar. It's a fully waterproof enclosure and features super efficient LEDs that don't put a hard drain on your battery. The plug-and-play wiring harness is easy to use, and thanks to the sealed connectors, you don't need to worry about heat shrinks or electrical tape. While the Ranger midsize has a huge rear box capacity, the truth is there's many times where you're out with your utility side-by-side and the rear box is full of all the stuff you just picked up, and you don't have a place to put all of your important tools. I particularly think of tree removal in this situation. I can't count how many times I've had my chainsaw on the seat beside me when the box is full of hardwood. The Seismic hood rack answers this problem with authority. No, it's not solid fit. It has special cam locks that allow you to still get the rack up and open when needing under the hood. With a solid steel design and nearly unmentionable tie-down points, you can carry your important gear safely and securely while still hauling a load out back. And with an install time of less than 30 minutes, you'll have the opportunity to utilize the light bar mounting plate for another Seismic eye opener. The 14-inch Seismic light bar packs a punch at 60 watts and features the same quality construction and waterproof design. Providing over 30,000 hours of light and passing 97% of power directly to the LEDs, you're sure to keep the candle burning and the trail lit well into the night. And with a cast aluminum construction, the Seismic light bar line will work just as hard as you, because it's designed for the long haul. Finally, our last piece to the puzzle, the Seismic mirror system. These are one of the first products that we ever noticed from Seismic, and they continue to do an exceptionally good job of building these high-quality safety accessories. All mirrors are not created equal, and after one look at the Seismic Pursuit mirror system designed for the ProFit roll cage, you'll know why. A cast aluminum housing is built to be beaten. Vibration isolators keep the mirror view from distorting, and the bracketry included in this kit allows a seamless fit onto the ProFit cage shape. Once installed, you'll notice an internal mirror that's adjustable without the need to move the exterior mirror frame, helping to keep the mirrors uniformly mounted. And one of the coolest features is the Delrin mirror detents that are built in for the time when, and you can be sure it'll happen, that you contact a tree or other object. Instead of bending your mirror frame, the mirror folds and it can be returned in one easy push. Pretty cool design. While I've only touched on just a few of the products that Seismic offers for the Midsize Ranger, I think I've shown you some of the most unique and functional. And with the all-new ProFit cab mount system, you can get the most from a universal product.
Trax Television has been sponsored by Polaris, the world leader in off-road innovation. Can-Am, the ride says it all. And by Arctic Cat. Share our passion.
Like the video you just saw? Do you want to see more? Click the subscribe link and add the Trax channel, and you're going to see a whole lot more great content.